Hello learners, welcome to Triaright. Today we will be learning about the file input and output, serialization, file input and output and serialization. For studying further, we will study about the file streams and readers, file stream and readers and writers. By this concept, by at the end of this concept, we will be getting to know about understanding Java file input and output architectures, the various streams that we will be taking in considerations. And using file input stream and file output stream for binary files for binary files, we have the input stream and output stream too, which we'll be getting to know about all these things here. And using file reader and writer for buffered classes for the text files, and we'll be using file reader and file writer for the buffered classes for the text files, and understanding and implementing object serialization and deserialization. We will be standing about the serialization and deserialization of the objects. Yeah. So coming to this file input and output stream readers and writers, what is this file input and output? The file input and output stands for IO. IO stands for input and output on files. So Java uses streams for input output files. Yeah. Now input stream reader, it reads from the source. Input stream reader, it reads from the source, and output stream reader, it gives data to the destination. It gives a respective data to a destination. So coming to these byte streams, file input stream and file output streams. Coming to these byte streams, it uses a binary files like image, video, etc. The image binary files like images, videos, etc. Now, we have to write a byte. We have to write bytes to a file. For how we'll do that? So we'll be looking here. We will have to import it from Java input output. First, we will have to import Java input output. Import java.input.output star. Input output styles from java.input.output.star. Yeah. For this, we have class byte write example, public class byte write example. We have the public static void main which throws IO exceptions. We have the main method line which throws IO exception. Yeah, input output exceptions also. We'll throw the exceptions. All now we have to find file output FOS. We'll find this FOS will accept all the output bin which will be getting from here. Yeah, this output bins which will be getting from here, output bins. Yeah, this file output FOS IFOS named by them equals new file output bin. Yeah, here this will create a new file output stream. This will create a new file output stream for writing the file named output bin. Yeah, this will create a new file output stream FOR. We'll create a new output stream FOS for writing the file in from the output bin. Yeah, FOS is the variable. FOS here is the variable name. It is a variable name that will hold the stream object. This will hold the stream objects. Yeah, file input, a class in Java, a file input file, this file input, a file output stream, this file output stream, a class in Java input output IO, Java IO. It is used to write raw bytes. They are used to write raw bytes to the files. Now coming further, we have the we started FOS. So we need to close that. No, coming here and coming here. FOS dot write. When we will getting the FOS, when the file output.bin will be from the output.bin will be getting FOS. This FOS dot write will help us to write this byte code. Get bytes. This will help us in getting the bytes. This will help us in getting the file bytes from the FOS. And FOS dot write, which each has a message hello binary world dot get bytes. It will provide us the bytes. It will provide us the bytes from the FOS. And so we started FOS, so we need to close that. FOS dot close. Yeah, close method. Finally, we closing the process. After that, we have the other example. We have the other example like read bytes from file. we are reading the bytes from the file also. For that we will importing the Java input output from the Java input output from dot star. For that we have to import Java input dot output from the dot star. We have to import all the classes file. And for that we have a class FileReader example. We have the main method line which will throw IO exception. Here FIS is a accepting of output bin, accepting a file from the output bin. It will accept the output from file bin, and with the help of new input output streams, we will be creating a input stream. We will be creating a file input stream here through the input stream through the input bin. Now we are creating a field input B, and until and unless this B this B until unless this B here until unless this B goes to be null in file.read fish.read, it will read all the files from this fish, and until unless this goes to be null, this line states that until and unless its value goes to be null, it will at becoming null, it will return -1. Till then it will accepted B, all this value accepted in B, all this value will be accepted in B, and this B will be converted to in character form. It will be casted to character form, and finally the output will be shown here by the system println. This output will be shown here. So I repeat, this integer int B, this is a separate integer variable which I defined earlier, and while this B which will accept input stream until this input stream dot read, this fees dot read, it will be reading all the word by word, and until this value goes to be -1, its value goes to be null, then suppose it will this value will be transferred to this variable B, and finally we'll be converting this variable P to the character form. Finally we will be converting this variable to the character form, and similarly printing them. Yes, system.out to print by printing them. So we started with, so we need to close it. So we started with this as an object or a variable for acceptance. So we started, so we need to close it. So fis.close method we will be using. Coming further, we will have the character streams. We have the character stream for the file reader and file reader also. We have the character streams used for reading and writing files. They are used for reading and writing the files. Now they will write text to the file. They will write text to the file. So we'll import them from java.io.star. So as like we'll be importing them from java.io.star, and this public class write is there is a class Triaright example here. There is a class Triaright example which has the main method line which throws IO exception, which has the main method line which throws IO exception. Now FileWriter, this FileWriter which has a variable fw which will write all the file from messages.txt. It will write all the messages from text. It will accept all the files from messages.txt. And this FileWriter, with the help of this FileWriter, it will write all the files from the messages.txt, and with this created fw, this created fw variable will write the files hello text world. Hello text world will write the file hello text world here. So when we started fw, so we need to close it, fw.close. So again repeat, fw is the file which we opened it, and it will accept all the messages from message.txt file. Yeah, and fw will help us, fw write message method help us to write all the text that are present in fw text that are present in fw, that here the text we are appending as hello text world, appending where the text appended is here is hello world, hello text world. So we started fw, so we need to close it. Finally we are closing that also, and now moving further, we are reading a text from file. How to read a text from file? We are watching an example for reading text from a file. We'll import that also from java.io.star. Import java.io.star, which has a class character read example, which has a class character read example, which has a public main method line which throws IO exception. Will throw an IO exception. This fr is a reader, is the reader of the file, and the reader of the file, this has a text message.txt. It will read all the file from message.txt. Message.txt will be given to fr. Yeah. So here is the character, here int character, int here we are defining a field int character. While this character fr.read, while this fr.read goes to be null means at the null point it will show -1. This and all these character accepted here will be thrown to this, given to this ch. Until and unless this character goes to be null, every single character will be given to this ch, and finally this ch will be converted to this character. Finally this ch will be converted to this character. Cast this is casting, it will cast it to this character, and then it will be printed here. System.println line will print here, it will be printed here by this line. And so we started fr, so we need to close that fr also, fr.close. Yeah, finally it's over. Now buffer reader and buffer writer, we are using buffer reader also to read and write. Yeah, it will improve the efficiency and buffering characters. This improves efficiency by buffering the characters. It improves efficiency by buffering the characters. For using buffer reader and writer, we have the example as we will import the files, this file from the classes, from the all the files from the import.java.star, and we have the classes class as buffer reader. Here we have the class as buffer reader example, and it has a main method line, which will throw an IO exception. Now buffer reader BW. Now this buffer reader BW, this BW equals new buffer reader, new FileWriter.dx data.text. This buffer BW will accept all the new files from this data.text. This BW will accept all the new files from this data.text. And BW dot, when it has accepted a new text, accepted all the text from that text, it will write the line number 1 and line number 2. So, line number 1 and line number 2, accepting the, it will write all the lines in the file. First line 1 slash, in the slash n means moving to the next line it will write line 2. Yes. Now when we started that, so we need to close that BW. We started BW to accept the lines, and so we need to close that also. We started BW to accept all those lines, so we need to close that. So we are closing it, BW.close. Buffer reader BR. Here buffer reader BR equals new buffer reader. Here it was the writer. It will write all the lines in those files. And now here we have the reader. Here we are performing for the reading part. Here we have the reader BR. It will accept all the data from the data.text. It will accept all the data from the data.text with the help of this new file reader. Yeah, and it has a string line. Suppose there is a field line. Yeah, while this line goes to be null, goes br, while this line is equal to, until and unless this line br is equal to br.read line, until and unless this it is br.read line, until and unless the line is not null, there are lines present. These lines will be printed. By the line system.out.println. These lines will be printed by the line system.out.println. I repeat, by until unless br.read line, until this line goes to be null, these lines will be given to this line, and similarly these lines will be printed here. These lines will be, until and unless these lines br.read lines goes to be null, these lines will be given to this line. This line will be given to this line, and these lines, this line will be printed here by system.out.println line. Yeah, and suppose we started here, so we need to close that also. Finally, the best practices for our best practices, we should try with resources to auto close files. We should always try with resources to automatically close the files. For and handling Java IO exception is the best possible case for that. And handling IO exception, for handling, we should handle the IO exception provided here. That is the best possible case for us. Using buffer reader, you should use buffer reader for live text reading. You should be using buffer reader for live text reading. Yeah, and object serialization. Coming to this object serialization. So what is object serialization? What is this serialization? What is this object serialization? This serialization is converting an object into a byte stream. This serialization is converting an object into the byte stream, and it is useful for saving object states to a file and saving object state to a file and sending object over a network, and it is also useful for sending object over a network. Sending object over a network. Now, how to serialize in Java? How do we serialize these files in Java? Implementing now coming step one. Step one, we have the following steps as here. Step one, it implements serializable interface. It implements a serializable interface. First, we will import this from the import java.io.serializer. We will import all the serializable classes and files here by import java.io.serializable. This has a class student. It has a class student which will implement serializable. It will accept all the properties of the serializable. It will inherit all the properties of the serializable, which has field as string name, and int roll number, which has field as string name and int roll number. Now we have a class public student. We have a public student which will be accepting two fields as two parameters, string name and int roll. Int roll and string name are the two parameters which will be accepting it, and this is a constructor. Actually, this is a constructor, so it will be accepting two fields, string name and int roll. And finally, this string and name, this role will be given to this name dot name and this role dot role. This name will be given to this name, the field which we have given here, field string name and int role. This field will be given by the parameters that will be passed here by this string name and int role. Yeah. Now coming further, we have to write objects to file. We have to write objects to file. So we will import that also from java.io.star. We'll import that also from java.io.star. And we have a class serialize example. Here we have a class serialize example, which follows the main method line. Which will throw IO exception. Which will throw IO means input output exception. We are creating student S as an object of the student, with the help of this new student, and we are passing Rohit 101. We are passing name here, name, and the roll number also. The name and roll number also. And so finally, further we have the object.output.stream. It will be having OS. We are forming an object OS. We are forming an object as OS and having the new object output stream as new object file input output stream from the student server. The student SCR means student server. It will accept this OS will accept this is all the things from all the out files from this student server. This OS will accept all the files, from this student.server. And finally it will write objects. Objects, yeah. From this student.server. Finally we will write this. Finally to this OS, we'll write the objects. Finally to this OS, we'll write the objects. We'll write objects as the objects which are accepted from this S object student S, which is accepted from student S. Finally, we write all those files here. Yeah, OS. And so we started OS, so we need to close it. OS when we started it, so we need to close it. So we're writing os.close. Yeah. Now deserialization. Reading object back. Objects will be broken into pieces, and again the objects will be made usable for reading. We will import this also from import.java.io.star. We'll import this function also from java.io.star. But we have the public class. As deserialize example. We have a public class as deserialize example, which has a main method line which throws IO exception. It's a main method line which throws IO exception, and this class found exception. Yeah. Coming further, this shows IO exception, and this class found exception. This object input stream OIS, this OIS is accepting the input student server, With the help of this new object stream, and in parentheses we'll be having the new file input stream. Whatever this server will input into this file, this will accept all the from this input stream reader, and finally it will be thrown to the OIS. Yeah. Now input student S. This is a interface found of student S, which has a student OIS dot read object. It will read each student OIS. It will read all the OIS, and that will be casted to the student only. That will be casted to the student. Yeah. Now it will finally printing the message name plus the student dot name is student dot name is we create to the interface is dot name plus role is dot role and the student roll number also here. So we started OIS. Finally we are need to close that also. So we are closing it OIS dot close. Yeah. Now for we have seen here that there is transient keyword. With the help of transient keyword, we can skip a field during serialization. With the help of this keyword, you can skip a field during serialization. And the serial visualization UID, is optional vision control. It's an optional vision control. Providing us for the various visioning part. Now, this serializable class should not contain non-serializable object. This serializable class they should not contain any non-serializable object because that will be a case error case. Now we can follow for different exercise for our beta part. We can create a program that takes input from the user and save it to our text file. For this, we can coming here we can use input. We can take input from the user and save it to our file. Create a book class, serialize a list of books, and deserialize it to a display. We can finally create a book class, deserialize the list of the book, deserialize it to a list of book, and we can create a book class, serialize a list of book, and deserialize it to the display. And finally creating the list and serializing the book, you can deserialize it to a display. So here we have learned about the different file input and file input stream reader and file output stream files also. So coming here, we read about the file input and output streams with the binary files. We will be having, which will be done with the help of binary files. And file reader and editor. File reader and editor. These are done for text files. Yeah. So for text files, whatever the files that is in the files, that similar files will be read and wrote as well as example. For here we have seen. For the reader, for buffer reader and buffer writer, for efficient text processing, for a better text processing, use the buffer reader and buffer writer. For serializable and object is output stream. We save objects to serializable and object stream. Object output stream, we save objects. To save objects, we use serializable plus output stream, object output stream. Now coming to this object input stream, read set files. It will this object all object input stream. This will read the set files that files that are saved. It will help us in reading those files. It will be helping us in reading all those files. Now we are to the end of the class. We'll meet in the next class. Thanks.